a two-state solution. We cooperate closely in this respect. It is important for us to exchange our views. So much regarding the Middle East, and if there are any questions, I remain available. Thank you, Minister. Minister Safadi.
Thank you so much, my dear friend. And I'd like to start by expressing tremendous appreciation for Her Excellency for not just the great hospitality, but the very in-depth conversation we had, both on how to move ahead with our very good bilateral relations, and also on the most urgent and most important subject now of how to stop this aggression on Gaza and how to stop the killing of civilians and destruction of their livelihood. If I may say, on our bilateral ties, we've had diplomatic relations for 31 years. Our cooperation has been good, but we're both determined to explore more horizons for further cooperation in mutually beneficial areas: economy, trade, tourism, cultural exchange, student exchange, and all of that. And the MOU that we signed today would enable us to really have a structured process of consultation that would allow us to identify areas where we can have more, as I said, mutually beneficial cooperation. Again, we're determined to advance our bilateral ties in every field possible, and we're also aligned in our position that is urging an immediate ceasefire to the war on Gaza, and to achieve just and lasting peace on the basis of the two-state solution. I want to recognize the position of Slovenia, that is a position that's on the side of justice, on the side of international law, on the side of the Palestinians' people's right to live with freedom and dignity, and with the right to self-determination recognized, on the side of peace, comprehensive peace that will allow both Palestinians and Israelis to live side by side in security. Your voice has been extremely important bilaterally within the EU, and also on the Security Council, where Slovenia is playing a very, very important role. So thank you for all of that, and also thank you for the support that you continue to show towards UNRWA. UNRWA is a lifeline for the Palestinian people, particularly in these dark times. Every dollar taken away from UNRWA is a piece of bread taken away from a starving child. Our position in Jordan has been very, very clear. This massacre has to end. A permanent ceasefire has to be reached immediately. The amount of destruction, the humanitarian catastrophe that continues to unfold in Gaza is beyond comprehension. 30,000 innocent people have been killed. 70% of them are women and children. Over 12,000 kids killed. 17,000 children who've been made orphaned by this war. People now are not just dying from bombardment, they're also dying from hunger, from starvation. 500,000 people in Gaza, according to the ICP category, which measures levels of famine and starvation. 500,000 people in Gaza are at the highest level of starvation, and this is the highest number anywhere in the world. This war will not bring security to the Israelis. It will not bring security to the region. The threat of escalation is even more serious as we approach the holy month of Ramadan. If we go to Ramadan with this kind of aggression continuing, then the chances for regional escalation will really multiply, particularly if the situation on the West Bank erupts. There is one way to go, and the only way is to stop the aggression immediately, to allow humanitarian supplies to come to 2.3 million people facing famine, and to immediately work on a once and for all solution that will bring about comprehensive peace that will guarantee the security of both Israelis and Palestinians, and that's the only solution is the two-state solution, which will see an independent, sovereign Palestinian state on June 4 lines with the occupied Jerusalem as capital, living side by side Israel in peace and security. This war again is causing a humanitarian catastrophe of unprecedented proportions. It's pushing the whole region into the abyss. It has to stop. It has to stop now, and the international community needs to stand on the side of international law, on the side of justice, because international law cannot continue to be applied selectively. Double standards should not stand. So the whole rule-based order now is being tested as people all over the world see an aggression continuing, see United Council resolutions ignored, see even an ICJ ruling that called for immediate entry of humanitarian supplies to starving people not implemented. We're going to continue to do everything we possibly can in working with our partners and friends to bring this war to an end, to ensure that people have food, that the children do not die from starvation, and to make sure that our region enjoys the peace that all our peoples deserve, a peace that, again, is the only guarantee of security for all peoples of the region, Palestinians and Israelis. We're a country that signed a peace treaty 30 years ago. We're a country that wants peace, but we know very well that this peace will continue to evade us unless the Palestinian people to their legitimate rights to freedom and statehood are fulfilled. Again, I want to say that in Slovenia we have a partner for peace. We're going to continue to work together, and we tremendously value all the efforts, Your Excellency, that you're making to make sure that we stop this massacre and we go to a future that offers better horizons and safety and security to all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have two questions. Dve vprašanje imamo. Prvo slovenska tiskovna agencija.
Slovenian Press Agency. Hello, my name is Sara Božič. I come from the Slovenian Press Agency.
And the resolution it's about to vote today is the Algerian resolution draft. And I wanted to ask, what is your opinion on it? Would you support it or would you support it? And also there's an American draft circling around. What is your opinion on that? Is it just a delaying tactic or will there be a vote on it? And the third question actually za ministrico Fajon je pa glede ruskega veleposlanika. Včeraj je ministrstvo potrdilo, da se ga je poklicalo na pogovor. Me je zanimalo malo več podrobnosti, kdaj približno je bil oziroma bo pogovor, kakšna je bila tema oziroma kakšen je razlog za pogovor in pa kakšen je bil odziv ruskega veleposlanika. Hvala.
Hvala lepa.
Thank you very much. Let me begin with the situation on Gaza resolution that will be adopted in the United Nations Security Council. Both ministers and I are following very closely today's activities in the Security Council. As you know, Slovenia has been very active with its proposals in shaping the Algerian resolution, draft resolution. The negotiations have been going on for a while. Slovenia supports the adoption of the Algerian resolution. We have advocated from the very beginning for an immediate ceasefire, and we see Security Council as playing a crucial role also in accordance with the UN Charter. Slovenia, therefore, is in favor of decisive action and decisions of the Security Council when it comes to the war in Gaza. We believe that the Security Council must adopt a firm position also by adopting a resolution. So Slovenia is willing to engage in any initiative that contributes to the ceasefire, to the end of hostilities, and, as mentioned by Minister Safadi, to the peace in the region. Our position is very clear. I expect that when it comes to the ceasefire in Gaza, the Security Council assumes its responsibility. For Slovenia, the Algerian draft resolution goes in the right direction. This is why we will support this proposition, this proposal in the Security Council today. I will answer the Navalny question later on.
Thank you.
does have the support of all of us. And reality, what is the resolution calling for? It's simply calling for an end to the war, a permanent ceasefire, allowance of sufficient humanitarian supplies into starving people. So obviously we support it, we'll continue to support it, and we hope everybody else will support it, because again, it is simply calling for implementing international law, for saving the lives of people who are dying again from bombardment and from hunger again. How many people will have to die before the Security Council resolution acts? Is 30,000 innocent life shattered not enough? Is almost 1.9 million people displaced and pushed into the indignity of overcrowded shelters not enough? It is time the world stood by by the UN Charter, by international law, by our human values, and said enough to this killing, which again will produce nothing but more suffering and more pain and more destruction and more threats to regional and global security. So we do hope that the resolution will pass. Unfortunately, we've seen other resolutions passed both at the UN General Assembly and at the Security Council that have called for even lesser things, that simply called for allowing food to get into Gaza, and Israel ignored those resolutions and did not implement them. So again, this is just another effort at having the world stand up to its responsibility and do what's right, and stop further massacring of innocent people. Thank you. I'm sorry?
The American proposition.
I'm not aware that this resolution is going to go to vote yet. We'll deal with it when it comes. But let me just add again that this resolution is coming at a time when Israel is threatening to go into Rafah. The population of Rafah now is 5 times its population before October 7. So basically 1.5 million people crowded in a 50 square kilometer area. They have nowhere to go. The people there have already been displaced from their homes in the north and center of Gaza, and now where are they going to go? So basically stopping this aggression on Rafah must be a top urgent priority for everybody. If the world fails to stop the aggression on Rafah, then the world will be allowing yet another massacre, yet another war crime to take place in Gaza.
Še glede Navalnega.
And regarding Navalny, indeed, we called the Russian ambassador in Slovenia to come to the ministry. We expressed our concern and dismay over the death of Alexei Navalny. We believe that the responsibility for his death is on the President Putin, on his regime. We call on Russia to allow an independent and transparent inquiry into the death of Alexei Navalny. You have heard and seen that many people are gathering in Russia to express their condolences and pay tribute to Mr. Navalny. We see that these people are being arrested by the Russian regime. This is why we called on the Russian ambassador to release all these people. And of course, yesterday, after the Foreign Affairs Council, a joint statement was released. We were also addressed by the widow of Mr. Navalny. In her very emotional address, she said that Putin is not the Russian people and Russian population, and Putin has to be held accountable for all his crimes. We recall that Alexei Navalny was a victim of a nerve agent attack. We know that the nerve agents are prohibited according to the Chemical Weapons Convention, and Russia has signed this convention. Slovenia and the EU have condemned this intoxication and poisoning and all other politically motivated trials against Navalny and others. We called Russia to release him, to ensure his security and health, but to no avail. This is why we asked the Russian ambassador to Slovenia to convey our call to the Russian authorities to release all political prisoners that are facing the same fate as the late Mr. Navalny. But These crimes are not the responsibility of the Russian
Drugo
people.
vprašanje RTV Slovenija.
Second question by the national TV, Slovenia.
Vprašanje za ministrico
Usha Savnik, I
Fajon.
have a question for Minister Fajon. The Ministry of Foreign and European Affairs announced that they will disburse humanitarian assistance. Will it be through the UNRWA or directly? Yes, Slovenia supports further work of the UNRWA agency. They need to do their work when it comes to the dispatch of humanitarian assistance of food in Gaza and neighboring countries in Syria and Jordan and other countries. Their assistance is of the utmost importance. We are aware of the serious allegations and we support the independent inquiry led by former French Minister Catherine Colonna. On Thursday, I will meet with Ms. Colonna. We are going to have a meeting and of course we are following closely this inquiry. It is true the Slovenian government will ensure further financial assistance to humanitarian workers through UNRWA. We don't believe that there is any alternative. We want to provide them the necessary assistance so that they can disburse their aid. We heard just today that children are dying because of hunger and many humanitarian workers also lost their lives. So these humanitarian endeavors must endure.
UNRWA is irreplaceable. Nobody can do the job that UNRWA is doing right now in providing life-saving assistance to 2.3 million Gazans, in addition to its work in other areas of operation in Syria, Lebanon, the West Bank, East Jerusalem, and Jordan. The allegations against UNRWA are allegations against 12 of UNRWA's 13,000 staff. UNRWA took action. There are 2 investigations into those allegations right now, one by within the UN mechanism itself, the other is by an independent commission led by the former French foreign minister. UNRWA did what's right in terms of seriously taking those allegations and looking into them and taking action to really get to the heart of it, and it has already fired those staff. So it is just incomprehensible that the world comes and immediately suspends funds from UNRWA on the basis of, again, allegations against 12 out of 13,000 people, and when UNRWA did the right thing and shouldered its responsibility and started an investigation. So we do urge all countries to resume funding to UNRWA. We do urge them to make sure that UNRWA gets all the support it needs. Nobody can replace UNRWA in Gaza, and if you talk to all other UN agencies, they will tell you that unless UNRWA is there on the ground, they will not be able to deliver the humanitarian supplies that are desperately needed by people who, again, as my dear friend just said, are dying from starvation, are dying from hunger. We cannot have collective punishment against UNRWA. This is the time to stand by UNRWA, to stand by the noble mission that it does, to enable UNRWA to provide life-saving support to Gazans, and not to take a stand again on the basis of allegations that UNRWA owned up to and did the right thing towards. Thank you.
Both ministers, thank you very much.
Thank you.